Scorpio. If you're reading these words right now, it's not by accident. This message has found you for a reason. It's a quiet reminder from the universe that you don't have to chase anything to become rich, because true wealth doesn't arrive in chaos or pressure. It comes in silence. It flows in rhythm. It begins the moment you stop reaching outward and start listening inward. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to fight. You don't need to force. All you need to do is breathe, hold your rhythm, and walk steadily in alignment with your own truth. Deep down, you already know this. Lately, your body has started shifting. Your breath is deeper. Your thoughts are less noisy. And even though nothing big has happened externally, something feels lighter, more aligned. That's the first sign. When your inner energy begins to balance itself, the outer world must adjust to match it. You don't have to try so hard anymore. You simply have to be. Show up daily with clarity, softness, and consistency, and let the universe handle the rest. Abundance is already arriving, not with thunder or bright flashing signs, but in gentle signals. A small opportunity, a kind person, a peaceful sleep, a morning when you wake up without heaviness. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Signs that your vibration is rising, that you are becoming the kind of person who attracts abundance without needing to chase it. Because when you live in the frequency of peace, prosperity doesn't need to be pulled in. You become the gravity that draws it near. So Scorpio, trust this. Don't ask, when will it happen? It's already happening. You are the shift. Every small action you take in stillness and faith is laying the foundation for lasting wealth. Not just financial, but emotional, spiritual, energetic. The kind of wealth that doesn't disappear overnight. The kind that expands with you. When you say no to what no longer serves you, you make space for blessings. When you honor your own pace instead of rushing to keep up, you reclaim your energy. When you stay rooted in gratitude even on the hard days, you speak the language of the universe. And the miracle is, you don't need to do more. You only need to stay steady. So breathe, smile, let go of urgency. The wealth you've prayed for is not far away. It's already on its way to you because now, finally, you are ready to hold it. Scorpio, the world has taught you that to be rich you must hurry, grind, compete, race against the clock. But that message was never truly meant for you. You were not built for chaos. You were built for depth, for precision, for a quiet kind of power that flows like water, not explodes like fire. You are a creature of rhythm, and your wealth will only find you when you return to that rhythm. There's a deep misunderstanding about prosperity in the world. People believe it comes from doing more, pushing harder, trying everything all at once. But not for you, Scorpio. Abundance for you is not measured by how much you do, but by how deeply aligned you are when you do it. You don't need to move in panic or urgency. You only need to tune into your own sacred pace, the one designed uniquely for your soul. Think back. When have the most meaningful blessings in your life ever arrived through fear or pressure? They came in stillness. They found you when you finally surrendered, when you stopped fighting and simply allowed. That is the space where true wealth begins, not just financial wealth, but peace, clarity, connection, and the kind of power that roots, not rattles. And right now, the universe isn't asking you to rush. It's asking you to be present, to slow down enough to hear the quiet instructions whispered into your spirit. That inner voice you've sometimes drowned out in the noise of obligations. It holds the guidance you've been seeking all along. This isn't a race. It's a rhythm. And your only task now is to find your flow again. Because Scorpio, you are magnetic. Not because you work harder than others, but because of how powerfully you vibrate when you're in alignment. You don't chase, you attract. You draw in people, ideas, resources, and miracles when you're still, focused, and intentional. The world feels it when a Scorpio walks in calm certainty. It responds to that gravity. So if you've been doubting yourself lately, let this be your confirmation. You are not behind. You are syncing up. You are shedding the noise of the world and returning to the heartbeat of your soul. Your richness isn't waiting somewhere far away. It's already forming inside your thoughts, your breath, your being. All that's left is for you to stay with it. Be steady, be honest, be still. And the wealth will come, not in a flash, but like a tide. Not with a roar, but with a rhythm. And when it arrives, it will feel like home, because your energy knew how to hold it long before your hands ever did. Scorpio, before wealth arrives in your bank account, it arrives in your body. This might sound unusual at first, but if you listen closely, you'll understand. Because everything in this universe is energy, and so are you. Your body, your breath, your nervous system, they are messengers of alignment. They speak long before money shows up, long before opportunities form. Have you noticed it lately? That subtle shift. The way your chest feels lighter when you wake up. The way your mind doesn't spiral when plans fall apart. The way your breath deepens on its own, as if something inside of you is finally releasing the pressure it held for far too long. That's not just relief, it's confirmation. That's your body tuning into a new frequency. When your thoughts begin to soften, when emotions no longer control you, when stillness becomes natural, that's when you know you're syncing up with something bigger than logic. Scorpio, your wealth doesn't come from frantic action, it's born from presence. And your body is guiding you there. Every relaxed shoulder, every unforced breath, every quiet moment of clarity is not a sign of laziness, it's a sign of arrival. Most people ignore this sacred feedback. They power through their pain, silence their softness, override their own wisdom. But not you. You are awakening. You are beginning to trust what others still resist. That a calm body is a magnetic one, and peace is not a luxury, it is the portal. So the next time that calm expands in your belly, do not dismiss it. It's not detachment. It's your energy shifting into alignment with what you once had to chase. Because here's the truth, Scorpio. You are no longer wired to hustle for what's already on its way to you. You are evolving. You are stepping into a new vibration where what belongs to you recognizes you and begins its journey toward you. And your body will be the first to notice. You'll sleep deeper, hear more clearly, laugh without guilt, feel okay where you once panicked. These are not random, they're proof. Your vibration is stabilizing. And when your vibration stabilizes, wealth no longer needs to be earned with exhaustion. It comes looking for you. Not because you asked louder, but because you finally became quiet enough to hold it. Scorpio, now that your inner world has begun to shift, your outer world is preparing to catch up. Don't be surprised if small things around you begin to feel different, because they are. The energy you've cultivated in silence is no longer hidden. It's starting to shape your reality. You'll begin to notice how conversations change, how people speak to you with more respect, how opportunities arise where there used to be obstacles, how moments that once triggered anxiety now pass like soft waves. This is not magic. It's alignment. Your environment is responding to the peace you've built inside. And while others may not see the full transformation yet, you will feel it in the little things, in the clarity of your decisions, in the calmness of your reactions, in the way you no longer chase but allow. You're no longer pulled in every direction, needing to prove your worth. You've become the center of your own energy, and from that still center, life starts to revolve naturally around you. You are no longer here to grasp at success, to run after validation, or to force results into being. You're here to embody what you desire, peacefully, powerfully, quietly. And from that embodiment, everything begins to come into place. Not in one sudden leap, but piece by piece, moment by moment. You'll find yourself finishing projects you once avoided, taking care of your space with love, choosing joy even when no one's watching. These subtle actions are sacred. They are how wealth enters, not just in money but in support, in clarity, in divine timing. This is what it means to be in alignment, to live in such harmony with your truth that the external world has no choice but to reflect that truth back to you. So trust it, Scorpio. Even if it's quiet, even if it's slow, even if no one claps for it. What you're building now, this grounded, consistent version of you, is the foundation for a life of abundance that doesn't burn out, break down, or depend on outside permission. It's real, and it's already unfolding all around you. Scorpio, what you're doing right now may seem small, too quiet for the world to notice, but in truth, it is the most powerful thing of all. Because wealth isn't built in dramatic moments. It's built in the unseen, steady rituals you commit to every day. It's in the way you make your bed with care, the way you speak gently to yourself in the mirror, the way you keep your promises even when no one is watching. These small acts, repeated with love and presence, are not meaningless. They are magnetic. Each one sends out a signal to the universe. I am ready. I can be trusted. I am stable. And in return, the universe answers with opportunities, connections, and blessings that match your frequency. The truth is, Scorpio, abundance is attracted to consistency, not perfection, not intensity, just quiet, grounded devotion. Every time you choose integrity over impulsiveness, clarity over chaos, calm over control, you're laying another brick in the foundation of a wealthy life. And the beauty of this process is that you no longer need to strive to be seen or fight to be heard. You've become the kind of person whose energy speaks for itself. You don't announce your transformation, you live it. And that living becomes a light that calls in more of what you're ready to receive. So keep going, keep choosing the rhythm that aligns with your truth, even if it looks different from what the world expects. Your power lies not in rushing, but in returning to your breath, to your body, to your boundaries. This is the rhythm that builds legacy. This is how wealth stays. Because when abundance is built on self-trust, self-respect, and sacred repetition, it becomes something no one can take from you. Not the economy, not other people, not fear. You are no longer creating from scarcity. You are creating from sovereignty. And that, Scorpio, is what makes you unstoppable. Scorpio. Now that you've returned to your rhythm, claimed your inner peace, and honored your truth with consistent, grounded action, there is only one thing left to do: receive. This is not the kind of receiving that waits with anxiety or expectation. This is sacred receiving, open, peaceful, anchored in trust. You've already become the version of yourself that doesn't chase wealth, you hold it. Not just in your hands, but in your energy. And because you've done the invisible work, the visible rewards are inevitable. They may come as a door you didn't expect to open, a conversation that changes everything, or a solution that appears exactly when you need it. But when it comes, you'll know. It was never about the money. It was never about the outcome. It was always about who you had to become to be able to carry the blessing well. And Scorpio, you've become that person. You've stopped begging for the world to see your worth and started building a world that reflects it. You've stopped fearing what you might lose and started trusting in what you're meant to live. The wealth that is coming to you now is not loud or flashy, it's rooted, wise, and real. It matches your depth. It honors your journey. And it flows to you. Not because you demanded it, but because you became the kind of soul who could sustain it. So breathe, Scorpio. Let it in. No resistance, no guilt, no self-doubt. You're not just stepping into abundance, you're remembering that it was always meant for you. The peace you feel is your confirmation. The clarity in your mind is the evidence. The ease in your breath is the sign. You are no longer waiting. You are living. You are no longer becoming. You are. And the universe, in all its grace, is already delivering what your frequency called in the moment you finally chose to trust your own timing. The chapter of chasing is over. The season of attracting has begun. This is your moment. Own it. Scorpio, even now as you stand on the threshold of this new energetic season, I want you to pause and honor yourself, not for what you've achieved, but for who you've become. You didn't rush your way here. You didn't manipulate, hustle, or perform. You surrendered, you softened, you returned. And in doing so, you activated something few ever reach, the ability to attract abundance from a place of stillness. This is no small feat. In a world that glorifies exhaustion and applause, you chose the quiet road, the path of substance over show, of depth over distraction. And now, because of that choice, life will begin to feel different. Not louder, but clearer. Not busier, but more meaningful. You'll find yourself saying no to what once drained you and yes to what once scared you. Your discernment is sharper. Your boundaries are firmer. Your intuition, undeniable. Because when you align with divine timing, everything you need begins to seek you. No more chasing, no more striving, only choosing with clarity, with authority, with love. And yes, the abundance you once dreamed of is still coming. Only now, it's coming on your terms. It will match your energy, your peace, your growth. And you'll no longer question if you're worthy of it. You'll know that your worth was never up for debate. You'll know that everything you released, the fear, the guilt, the self-doubt, was clearing the path for the version of you who is finally ready to receive without apology. So if there's one last thing to remember, let it be this. You are not just attracting wealth, you are redefining what wealth means. It's not just in your bank account, it's in your breath, your time, your relationships, your ability to rest without guilt and rise without fear. And from here, Scorpio, there is no going back. You are no longer the seeker. You are the magnet. And what's meant for you, peaceful, powerful, divine, will find you, stay with you, and grow through you. This is your new reality. Walk in it with grace. You've earned it, Scorpio. As this message comes to a close, I want you to remember something sacred. The energy you hold now is not temporary. It is a seed. And every time you return to your breath, to your boundaries, to your peace, you are watering that seed with trust. This is no longer just about wealth, this is about who you are becoming with it. Because anyone can receive money, but not everyone can hold it with integrity. Anyone can call in success, but not everyone can carry it with grace. You are not being prepared just to receive. You are being prepared to lead, to live, to expand, to be an example of what abundance looks like when it is rooted in healing, wholeness, and spiritual maturity. And that means this journey does not end here. This is not a finish line, it's a frequency. A new vibration that you now carry forward into your choices, your conversations, your presence. The way you show up at the grocery store. The way you speak to a stranger. The way you treat your home, your time, your body, all of it now flows from a higher place. You are no longer living from fear. You are living from favor. And favor doesn't need to scream. It glows. It attracts. It multiplies. So walk forward with your head high, not in pride, but in knowing. Knowing that everything is already unfolding for your highest good. That what's meant for you is already making its way toward you. That you don't need to force it, chase it, or explain yourself anymore. You are enough. You are ready. You are magnetic. And you are walking into a season where your stillness speaks louder than anything you could shout. This is your time. This is your truth. This is your treasure. Now take a deep breath and receive. Scorpio. Now let it be done. Let this not just be a beautiful message you heard once and forgot, but a shift you felt in your bones, a remembrance that woke something ancient inside you. You were never meant to hustle for scraps or beg for blessings. You were always the blessing. You were always the fire beneath the silence, the gold hidden in stillness, the force wrapped in quiet power. And now, you know it. This is your new foundation. This is your new normal. You do not need to return to the old cycles of fear and lack because those patterns no longer recognize you. You have outgrown them, outloved them, outlived them. And from here there is only forward. Forward into ease, forward into divine provision, forward into legacy, not just in wealth, but in presence. You are not just attracting what's yours. You are creating space for others to believe it's possible too, because that's what happens when a Scorpio remembers their worth. They don't just change their world, they change the frequency of everything around them. Your silence will speak louder now. Your boundaries will build bridges. Your presence will calm storms. And the energy you carry will open doors you never had to knock on. So as you walk forward, do it with softness and certainty. Let others race, you know the truth. The richest frequency is peace. And in that peace you are now a match for miracles. Your frequency is clear. Your soul is ready. Your hands are open. Now without fear, without doubt, without delay, receive. Everything is already yours. Scorpio, in this quiet moment, something is awakening in you that cannot be undone. This is more than encouragement. It's a remembrance, a sacred vow between your soul and the divine. You didn't come here to survive. You came here to rise. And now that you have remembered your rhythm, your worth, your wealth, you are being asked to live like it, to speak from it, to move through your days not in fear of losing, but in certainty of belonging. The things that once triggered your scarcity no longer have power here. The people who once made you question your value no longer have access to your light. You've built something unshakable inside you, one breath, one boundary, one brave choice at a time. And now, the universe responds to you differently because you respond to you differently. You've become the energy you used to chase. You've become the answer to the prayers you once whispered in the dark. So from this moment forward, walk with your shoulders soft, but your soul strong. Make peace your baseline. Make joy your compass. Make rest a spiritual practice, not a reward. Let your presence say what your words never have to. You don't need to defend your glow. You don't need to explain your ease. You don't need to justify why life is finally beginning to feel gentle. You earned this frequency. And now it is your new home. Let this be your vow, Scorpio. I no longer abandon myself to be loved, understood, or safe. I no longer chase what is meant to flow. I no longer carry what is not mine. From this moment on, I receive, I expand, I embody. I walk in wealth, I rest in rhythm, I trust in timing, I rise in grace. And with that, you are sealed, you are supported, you are sovereign. Welcome to the wealth you no longer have to wait for. And now, Scorpio, breathe not to catch your breath, but to honor the space you've just entered. This isn't the end of a message, it's the beginning of a new reality. You've returned to your rhythm, you've reclaimed your truth, and you've remembered what the world tried to make you forget. That wealth is not about what you have, but about who you are when nothing needs to be forced. So as you move forward, carry this knowing like a flame in your chest. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer proving. You are walking in alignment, attracting what's yours, and becoming the living embodiment of grace, depth, and abundance. Let this not just be a message you heard. Let this be the vibration you live. Welcome to your new frequency, Scorpio. You were never chasing the riches. You were always becoming the source of them. And now, it is done.